Dear friends, welcome to session 4, wherein we are discussing about business letters. How do we write business letters? In our first class, we talked about the format and then an example related to the business letter. In the second session, we discussed about the different types of business letters that are used by us in order to communicate, in order to interact with others. And in today's class, we are going to talk about the tips that we have to keep in our mind whenever we are writing any kind of business letter. So, how to bring in efficiency, how to create that effectiveness whenever we are writing any of the business letter. So, let us start our session. So, I want you to recall the day when you were writing letters. While writing letter, the first thing that you might be doing was you decided what is it that you want to write, isn't it? To whom are you going to write the letter? What would be the information that you're going to share through this particular letter? So what did you do? You have drawn the outline and you started organizing your ideas. So outlining and organizing ideas is very, very important. They play a very significant role, and we all have to work out on these two skills while writing any of the letter. Even if you're writing an electronic version of letter, that is email, you should be very thoughtful immediately when the thought comes in your mind, and without proper idea, without proper planning, without proper organization of the ideas, if you straight away start writing letter, you will see, or you will tend to see, that there will be a couple of things that you have missed, or there are certain points which are irrelevant but still included in that particular letter. So it is always advised, while writing any of the business letters, the first thing that you should always do is discuss with yourself what is it that you want to write. So what should be the outline, that is the subject line? What is it that you are going to mention in that particular letter? How much are you going to describe? What would be the amount of information, or what would be the quantum of information that you're going to share in that particular letter? So accordingly, you're going to organize your ideas. Accordingly, you're going to plan what is it that you're going to mention in that particular letter. So based on the idea that you have generated, you start gathering information. Now, the information that you are gathering could be from the previous record of that particular person, could be related to your product, could be related to your service. In order to make you understand about what gathering information is, let me once again help you with an example. Say you are trying to pitch, or you are trying to explain about a new product. Probably you all have understood what a new product is, or you all know, in order to launch a new product, the first thing that you have to do is you have to convince the customer or the client. In order to convince the customer or the client, unless and until you don't know about the product, you will not be able to present your idea in the confirmative, or probably in the confident manner. So the most important thing here is you should know about the product. How will you come to know about the product unless and until you are not doing the basic homework, or the homework is not done by you in a proper way? So you should gather information. From where are you going to gather the information? It could be from the website, it could be by using the product, it could be by using the services, or it could be by knowing more from the person whosoever has developed that particular product. So keep this in your mind. Gathering information matters a lot. Say, if you are planning to propose, or if you are planning to hold an event, unless and until you don't know the budget, and when I talk about the budget, say for example, how many people are going to come to the event? Are you going to make any arrangement related to their food, or even to their stay? So if there are people who are coming from other states, where are they going to stay? Is there any facility provided by you related to their hospitality, or related to their accommodation? So there are different things that you have to keep in your mind related to stage, related to photography, videography, the events that you are going to organize. What are the events that would be held? Who are the one who are going to execute it? So there can be a number of things, and from for each and everything, you will be expecting a detailed information from the respective persons, isn't it? So what are you going to do? You're going to gather information. Now, each and every piece of information that you have gathered will not be shared with all the people, based on the requirement, based on the necessity, based on the availability and relevance. What are you going to do? You are going to bifurcate, or you're going to divide, you're going to sort, you're going to filter. What is it that I am willing to convey with others? So what are you doing? The first thing is you are organizing your ideas based on the idea that you have agreed that yes, this is the information that I want to share. Say, for example, when I'm making an inquiry, what is it that I'm looking for? If I'm placing an order, for how many products am I placing the order? If I'm selling the product, by what day, by what time am I going to uh, deliver that consignment to the concerned authorities? What about the payment? Am I going to collect the payment in advance, or will I get the payment in partiality? That is 50% in advance, 50% after receiving the consignment. What about the complaint? Who is going to handle the complaint? Who is going to adjust those complaints that are received? Do I require any kind of follow-ups to be made? So there are so many things that you have to keep on doing simultaneously, isn't it? So always remember, boys and girls, that when we talk about outline of the idea, you should know what is the purpose behind writing this particular letter. And then, based on the purpose, you're going to gather the information. Then you start drafting. When I say drafting, I'm not saying this is the final version of the letter that you're going to click and send, or you're going to write on the piece of paper, type it on the piece of paper, and then print it out, put it in the envelope, and send it across. This is something which you all have to keep in your mind. Do you all remember note taking? Before making your fair notes, you all went on collecting the information from the different teachers. You went on scribbling them on different notepads, or probably you might have had one single notepad in which you collected all the information, and after going home, you started writing, or you started making fair notes of each subject in a different way. So that is called as drafting, wherein you collect all the rough ideas, put those rough ideas in proper order, and then fair it, or you write it in a fair way. All right, that is called as drafting. Then comes appropriate recipient. Whenever we are sharing any letter, the address that we are supposed to send the consignment or the product, or even writing any inquiry or sharing an inquiry or recommendation letter or acknowledgement letter, we all should understand the address should be the right one. If you are writing an email, the email address should be correct. If you are sending it as a letter, which contains a letter on the envelope, the address should be correct. If the address is wrong, or if there is no pin code, the letter is not going to reach to the right person. So therefore, you should always have the right address. The lines that you're going to start, the way you're going to start your letter should be an impressive one. Many a times, if you are even unhappy, say for example, let me give you an example of a complaint letter. You have bought a product and you are dissatisfied with the company's services. So what are you going to do? Are you going to scold them? Are you going to abuse them? Are you going to say that, look, your product is bad, your services is bad, and then you are absolutely unhappy with them? No, you're not going to write straight away these lines in the letter. What are you going to do? You're going to praise them. You're going to say that though you had great expectation, but you could not get that expectation as up to your level, or probably you are dissatisfied because of many reasons. It could be the fault of a sales officer, it could be the fault of the person who was delivering the product. So you should always remember the language that you're using should be a softer one. I want you all to once again remember this beautiful saying, which goes like this: praise loudly, blame softly. So, whenever you are praising someone, it could be acknowledged and it could be praised louder. But whenever you are blaming somebody, blame it very softly so that the right notes and the right dots can be connected in the right place. And even the person can feel that, yes, you are with him, you empathize with him, and then you may get your resolution, or you may get the solution to your problem very sooner and very quickly. So please keep this in your mind, that whenever we are talking about impressive opening, the lines that you're going to use, the way in which you're going to propose the idea should be the right one. Always remember, the formal letters are written in a simpler way, in a briefer way. so that the person can understand the concept very easily. It should be simple, it should be as brief as it can, and also straightforward. Do not try to confuse the reader. Do not try to give wrong information. Do not give any bluff statement or a false statement. Whatever you are sharing should be true. Whatever you are conveying should be true. Whatever you are trying to present should be fair enough. So always understand the importance of writing it in brevity. That is, write as simple as you can. The language that you're using should be very short, should be easy to understand by the reader. It should not be a confusing one. You cannot use anything which creates ambiguity, which creates confusion, which creates dilemma. Always remember the language that we use should be short, should be simple, should be brief, and should be straightforward to the point. You cannot, again, create your own stories, cook your own stories, and confuse the reader. All right. So it has to be always in brevity, in short, and in totality and entirety. Maintain the interest and generate interest, because the person whosoever is going to read the letter will be busy. Always remember this. Whenever we talk about the formal letters are written particularly to the person who is working in an organization. So you should always give respect to others time. So whenever you are writing any of the formal letter, make sure that you should write to the point, so that the person while reading the letter should not get confused, should believe that yes, you are talking about the problem and you're looking for the problem. It should be simple, easy to understand, and straightforward, so that the person can read the letter in entirety, in totality, and can work on it, can try to resolve it as quickly as he or she can. So, supportive document should be this. If, for example, if you have purchased a mobile, the invoice should be enclosed with it. If you are working in an organization and you have some problem with your purchase order, if you have some problem with the payment, you did not receive the payment from the customer, you are making an inquiry, you are not getting any response from the other side, always remember the supportive documents. When did you make the first inquiry, when did you give a call, or when were you trying to contact him or her? All these relevant evidences and proof should be included. Please remember, supportive documents are very important. If the supportive document is missing, it becomes very difficult for the other person or from the opposite person to resolve your problem. So please keep this in your mind. Supportive documents are very, very important. Say, for example, in order to make you understand, let me take it in this way. You bought a new mobile phone and you were using it for a day or two. On the third day, the battery was not at all getting charged. So what are you going to do? You're going to definitely go back to the salesperson and you will say, or you will show him what the problem is. But without the invoice or without the bill of that particular mobile, do you think the person is going to work out or resolve your problem? No. So he needs that supportive document. I believe everybody could understand what supportive documents are. There could be different supportive documents. Similarly, when you are approaching to a doctor, he or she may require the prescription. He or she may say that I made you, or I wanted a certain diagnostic to be done. So, do you have those lab reports or medical reports or not? So, these all are supportive documents. Finally, before you email, you should review your letter. Before you are going to put the letter, fold it in an envelope, and then post it, please remember you should, and before placing the letter in the envelope or before pressing the button of send, you should read it twice, so that you come to know that yes, whatever you have mentioned in that particular letter is in sync with your thought, in sync with your idea. You could understand the requirement that is shared by the person, whether the response is correct or not, whether the information that you're sharing is in full or not. So after doing all these, once when you are happy, once when you are satisfied, once when you say that, yes, I have checked everything, I feel that this is the right information that I'm sharing with the audiences, you can send it across. So reviewing and revising is very important. Many a times it happens that some of the important points we might have skipped, or maybe we are writing too many things. So what is it that we should avoid? What is it that we should eliminate? So keep all these things in your mind, and that can be possible only when you review and revise your letters. Not to forget, review and revision is very, very important, and that will help you to connect with your audience, that is, to generate and to develop the interest level in the reader's mind. All right. So the day when you're going to apply these effective rules, right from outlining and organizing your ideas, gathering information, drafting, looking for the appropriate recipient's address, starting it in an impressive way, making it to the point that is being very specific, brief, and straightforward to generate and maintain interest of the reader, along with supportive documents, and then review and revise. This will definitely help you to write your letters in an effective and empathetic way. That's all in today's class. I want you all to practice writing this so that you can develop it and you can imbibe it in your day to day life. So, till now, we discussed about the different formats of the letter. We also talked about the different official or the business letters or the formal letters. And finally, in today's class, we discussed what are the effective tools and techniques that we have to keep in our mind whenever we are writing or when we want to write an effective business letter. That's all in today's class. See you all next time. Thank you very much for attending today's class.